The New York Jets have taken a monumental gamble. By hiring Darren Mougey as general manager and Aaron Glenn as head coach, the organization has opted for bold, unconventional moves to address a franchise in desperate need of a resurgence. Yet, this pairing has sparked as much skepticism as it has hope. For Jets fans who have endured 14 years of playoff purgatory, this leadership overhaul feels like a now or never moment. Will Mougey and Glenn rise to the challenge and create a winning culture? Or will they join the long list of failed Jets experiments, leaving the franchise to sink further into irrelevance? Buckle up. This is the high-stakes story of a team on the brink of transformation or total collapse. A bold but risky pairing. Let's not sugarcoat it. Darren Mougey and Aaron Glenn come into their roles with glaring inexperience. Mougey, at 39, becomes one of the youngest GMs in the NFL, yet he's stepping into the most demanding period of Jets history. Glenn, meanwhile, has no prior head coaching experience, but inherits a fractured locker room, a fan base teetering on the edge of apathy, and a quarterback dilemma featuring Aaron Rodgers. This unconventional pairing comes after the Jets flipped the traditional hiring script by selecting Glenn as head coach before finalizing Mougey as general manager. The message from Jets ownership is clear. They're willing to take risks, but will those risks pay off? The Darren Mougey factor. Mougey's resume paints a mixed picture. Yes, he has the pedigree of a top talent evaluator, having helped build a solid draft portfolio with the Denver Broncos. Key selections like Pat Surtain II and Marvin Mims Jr. highlight his eye for talent. But let's not forget the elephant in the room. He was also part of the Broncos front office that approved the disastrous Russell Wilson trade. That blunder still casts a shadow over his ability to make high-stakes decisions under pressure. Now, Mougey faces an even bigger challenge in New York. The Jets are strapped with only $25 million in cap space, a roster riddled with holes, and 23 pending free agents. His job won't just be about finding talent. It will require creative financial gymnastics and decisive moves on the futures of stars like Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson. Mougey's lack of experience as a general manager is concerning, but what's more alarming is the enormous scope of the job ahead. This isn't just about rebuilding a roster. It's about rebuilding trust with players, fans, and the NFL as a whole. Aaron Glenn, the rookie head coach with everything to prove. Aaron Glenn's hiring is equally polarizing. As a respected defensive coordinator, Glenn has demonstrated an ability to develop players and inspire defenses. But being a head coach is an entirely different beast. Glenn will need to establish himself quickly as a leader capable of turning a toxic culture into a winning one. One major question looms. Can Glenn's defensive prowess compensate for his inexperience as a head coach? With the Jets' offense in disarray and a quarterback conundrum to resolve, Glenn will have to lean heavily on Mougey's personnel decisions. This partnership will require seamless communication and trust, something that isn't guaranteed given their lack of prior collaboration. The Aaron Rodgers dilemma. The shadow of Aaron Rodgers looms large over this entire situation. At 41, Rodgers is no longer the elite player he once was, and his future with the Jets is uncertain. Do Mougey and Glenn attempt to rebuild around him for a last-ditch playoff run, or do they cut ties and look to the future? Rodgers' $37.5 million cap hit complicates matters further. If the Jets choose to move on, they'll face significant financial penalties and a roster left scrambling for leadership. If they stick with him, they risk prolonging their reliance on an aging quarterback with declining performance. This decision will define Mougey and Glenn's early tenure. The wrong call could set the franchise back another decade. The Garrett Wilson situation. As if Rodgers weren't enough, the Jets also face a looming decision on wide receiver Garrett Wilson. Eligible for a contract extension, Wilson has already shown signs of frustration with the team's losing culture. If he requests a trade, it will be yet another devastating blow to the Jets' offensive aspirations. Retaining Wilson will require not just financial commitment, but also a clear, convincing vision of the future. Does this new leadership duo have what it takes to inspire confidence in players like Wilson? The jury is still out. The draft and cap space hurdles. The Jets own the number 7 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. But this is where Mougey's talent evaluation skills will truly be tested. With only $25 million in cap space and significant roster holes, the Jets need to hit home runs in the draft. This is not the time for flashy gambles or risky trades. It's time for calculated high-value picks. How Mougey navigates this critical offseason will reveal whether he has the strategic vision required for long-term success. A misstep here could haunt the franchise for years. The weight of expectations. For Jets fans, the pain of the past 14 years is palpable. They've watched as other teams rebuilt and thrived, while their own franchise remained mired in dysfunction. Mougey and Glenn must understand that they're not just rebuilding a team, they're restoring hope. This partnership has the potential to usher in a new era of Jets football. But the road ahead is fraught with peril. Every decision will be scrutinized. Every loss will be magnified. The margin for error is razor thin.